Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. Today's video is going to be about the latest patch that was just showcased a few moments ago in the Paladins game channel. The name of the patch is Sands of Myth, and it's basically around the Egyptian theme. We have a new battle pass, some new chests, some balancings, and some extra things, and I'm going to be trying to go all over everything that changed or everything that's new as fast as possible. So let's start off with the battle pass. Same price as always, 600 crystals. It has 4 skins and 4 recolors as always, and there's always an option of buying the battle passport, which will allow you to buy 30 levels straight away with the battle pass, costing you 1,500 crystals. For those who are just going to purchase the normal battle pass, it will cost you 600 crystals, but on the free track you'll get 450 crystals, and on the premium track you'll get 150. I'm actually giving you all your crystals back, so it's actually kind of a good thing since it comes with, technically speaking, 8 different skins and some extra stuff. Let's start off with the skins. The first skin that you're gonna get is straight away as soon as you buy it. It will be the Tomb Keeper Tiberius skin. Should be on screen right now. I'm probably going to put the gameplay as well playing, but there wasn't really much of a sound there to hear. They didn't display too much of the sound, so to hear the sound and so on, I'll probably just do some streams and videos when the PDS is live, which, by the way, if you're asking, PDS should be live back on the weekend, so probably Friday, Saturday, something like that. And apparently the Battle Pass buy-in skin is now unlimited and can be direct purchased by 1,200 crystals after the battle pass is finished. So what they're saying is all of these skins are supposed to be unlimited, which, as I mentioned before, you can buy them for a higher price. But the problem is, I believe the alternative skins, the recolors, are probably not going to be. It seems like they're limited, or at least only the Mave skin will be limited. It's not yet confirmed, but when we get in game, I'll probably try to show that case that. Next up, we got Crypt Guardian Realm at level 10, which looks really good. Level 30, we got Divine Daughter Ying, as you can see, level 30. Then we got a level 40, the Emerald Bandit Mave. This, I believe, I may be mistaken, but I think there was some sort of an art for this skin, but I just don't think that it was related to the Egypt or something like that. Even so, still looks nice. The face looks a little bit different, but not what I was expecting, but it still looks really nice, especially the weapons. They have pulsing waves of green. Then the alternative skins will start at level 50 with the Sphinx Soldier Tiberius, which is basically Tiberius, the skin before, but now it has like a pink sort of rose tone to it. Looks really good. Level 60, we got the Undead Colossus Realm, going a little bit darker on colors and more goldish. Then we got level 70, High Priestess Ying, looking more darker tones instead of bluish and so on. Even her hair now is purple, looks really good. And a level 80, finally, the Limited, which is what's actually it's branded as limited. It is the skin Temple Raider Mave. She's a little bit more gray with some pink, so looks really nice. Now, beyond this, for those who don't know, there's actually some new cosmetics called Death Cards. The Death Cards, however, these are little cards that will show up when you die. You'll see the death card of your enemy. So you will be able to select death cards for, I believe, your account. It's almost like the death stamps, but instead it will show up on your screen. So since they're removing the kill cams in top place, as you probably already heard, because they were creating too many problems, too many bugs. And I know there's going to be people just complaining about that. It's understandable, but they have their reasons for that, and they've already said that multiple times before. I'll probably leave a link in the description for the dev blog where they're talking about that, explaining why they're doing it and how many things do we actually have to show that it was actually a bad thing. It wasn't really appropriate for the standard paladins that we have today. But even so, they showed us a couple death cards, and one of them was actually caughting my eye, which is this one on screen right now, which is what I believe Pepper, but in an Egyptian skin mode, which is not what I was expecting. Now, it's not the first time before that they actually showed us skins that don't exist. Like, for example, the pop star skins of Koga, whatever it was, or the pinup Furia. These skins do not exist, and they exist in avatars and so on. So I wouldn't be surprised this is just that. But at the same time, they multiple times during the stream mentioned about Pepper. So it could be. There's also a spray that it's also the same Pepper, but looks like it has the headphones and everything just to let us know that that's Pepper, because Pepper is a remix skin for those who don't know. And then there's also other sprays, which I'm not going to go through the sprays, it's not really that much importance. And we have the frame that I believe that is what you will also unlock straight away in the beginning of the Bala Pass. Now, this is not the only thing. There's also a map rework to Frog Isle. This was mentioned back in the HRX. They changed the colors pretty much. There's more frogs all over the place. There's more trees, bigger, and even covering up some places where we could potentially be thrown off the map. Some other places will close. Some other places will also change. It's just being, instead of being just a rock, now actually has some walls in there. So looks really, really, really good. Now, as I mentioned before, kill cams and top lays will be removed, and instead they will put some new things: the death cards and the post-match lobby. The post-match lobby are now actually going to be different. Before, you would have the 4 different MVP poses for whatever class, whoever did well on that class. Now it will be different. You'll see your 5 teammates, and every single one of them will have a title. There's like 30 different titles currently. Something like, for example, imagine you didn't die once. Probably there will be a title for the Undying or the Immortal, something like that. If you do the highest damage, you'll be like the Damager or the Heavy Damage, something like that. This is what you're going to receive. You'll be the one standing in the middle, and then there's going to be 2 more on each side. So like standing with their MVP poses instead of the one before. It kind of makes sense and it's good. And there will also be accolades where you are going to be able to commend some of the players. You have up to 8 per day, all right? And if you commend enough, you will get rewards. So if you commend up to 100 commendations, which means there's going to be a lot of days because you can only do 8 a day. So in 10 days, you'll do 80. So you sort of already see here, like around 15 days, you already have your first reward. And then another 15 days, you get another reward. And the rewards are the following. If you get to 100 commendations, you'll get a limited title called Comes Highly Rated. At 200 commendations, you'll get a gold chest. At 300 commendations, you get a Sky Raider. It says Death Stamp, but it's supposed to be a death card. At 400 commendations, you'll get a diamond chest, and at 500 commendations, you'll get a loading frame that it's awarded to you in the end of Season 3. Now, this could either be the ranked season frame, or it's actually just a different frame, which I'm guessing it's a different frame since they already supposedly actually rewarded people for the frame of the season part, all right? As I said before, you will only be able to commendate 8 players per day. It cannot be the same player in the same day, all right? And people who are banned will have their commendations counts reset to 0. So now there's actually higher standards. If you get banned, you will no longer be able to get any of these rewards for doing commendations, which is actually really good. I think that's something that it's going to, sort of tell people, do not get banned. Do not do things to get banned, all right? Be a little bit more careful. There's also going to be extra death cards that you can see here right now on screen. They will be purchased by 300 crystals. And there's some little text to these pictures, to these death cards. I'm going to be having the entire thing in screen so you guys can see which one is for which. Mastery levels. No more people will actually buy levels, which is something I'm really, really happy for. you know, people like you people probably gonna complain, but here are some of the things you're gonna be able to buy with gold. You're gonna be able to buy the title, the 1%, by 5 million gold. This will actually be, I will actually be laughing a lot every time I see this, because I know there's a lot of people with gold out there, and I know that there's a lot of people who wasted their golden levels just because they didn't know what else to do with the gold. Now, having this one title that it will be so limited to people with a lot of gold, this is actually going to be funny to see. At 1 million gold, you'll be able to buy one of these 4 different titles. Is a Bot, Live, Laugh, Frag, Has It All, and The Edgelord. So, funny titles. If you have 1 million gold, you're going to be able to buy one of these. If you have the 5 million gold, you can just buy the 1% title. Really good. Then we're also having golden skins coming out, and this time it will be 3, which will be Cassie, Mikawa, and Torvald. After this, we're going to have a new chest called Steel and Fire, which should be right now on screen, costing 400 crystals. And inside of this chest, we were going to have the Steel Forge Berrak, Legionnaire Atlas, Nightmare Fernando, Drakefire Tyra, Dragonborn Moji, and finally a new skin that literally will only be at least reachable inside of this chest, named Steel Forge Terminus. I believe that this skin should have came out on the Steel Forged patch, but maybe they just didn't have a chance to put it there. And this actually leads me to think that some skins that were not released with certain battle passes may actually come in the future inside of some chests regarding, you know, those old themes of the old battle passes. So we may actually see that Egyptian pepper in the future. So I'm actually going to be looking really excited for that. Then we are going to have another chest called Gothic Horrors, and it will be available for 300 crystals at 18th March. And the skins inside will be Brimstone Grok, Death Speaker Ying, Dutchman Mikawa, Hemlock Willow, Huntsman Androxus, Iron Maiden Inara, Nightbane Cassie, and Wickerman Maldumba. So every skin that looks a little bit scary. Now let's talk about balance. Ashe is going to have her damage reverted. So there was some sort of a bug apparently, or something that just slipped and they didn't really want to do that. Her damage went to 360 per shot instead of 400. Now it's back to 400. Berrak is going to have a nerf to the cards of sustainability, like for example double time, field deploy, healing station. So sustainability for Berrak was kind of nerfed. Bomb King is now going to have some sort of a, I'm going to call it a AoE damage drop-off. I'm gonna call it that because I think that's the most simplest way to explain, but it's going to be for the card, the talent, Royal Subject. Furia had her talent Cherish nerfed. Instead of 25% extra bonus healing, it will now be 15. Grok, however, had a lot of changes. Let's start off with the abilities so you guys don't get lost. His healing totem now has 2 charges. It will also be able to stack heals, so you can put 2 totems in the exact same spot and you will receive heals from both totems, not just from one. The increased max allowed totem count will be 3, all right? So if you're using a talent, you can go up to 3, which I'll talk about that later. They also reduced the healing per second from 420 to 250. So it has more totems, and you can even have more, but it will actually heal for almost half, I would say. They also reduced its cooldown from 15 to 10, and they increased the effect radius from 20 to 28, so you can cover a lot more ground with this. Ghost Walk, they increased the duration for 2 seconds instead of 1. They increased the movement speed from 20% to 50%, and they increased its cooldown, from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. Tempest, the ultimate, now has reduced healing. Instead of healing for 1000 per second, it will heal for 700. It also reduced movement speed. Instead of giving you 60% movement speed to everyone, it will only give 15%. And now you're going to be able to heal 3 people instead of 2, and you can also hit 3 enemies instead of 2. Now on to his talents. Spirit's Domain, it will heal for 500 now instead of 900 per second. But the Totemic Ward was giving CC immunity and healing more to to people for at least 2 seconds after they touch the totem. Unfortunately, that is going away, and instead now he can gain a third charge for his healing totem, and it will also increase their healing of each totem by 20%. With that done, he also had a couple of changes to some cards. Instead of going through every single one of the cards, I'm just going to leave link in the description for the entire patch notes. You guys can just scroll down all the way to Grok, and you're going to see the entire different cards that were changed. Inara, she had also a reverted an unintended damage nerf from 210 per shot to 225 per shot. All right, she shoots 3 times in one charge, doing 225 supposedly every single one of the stones that it hits, but it was actually doing 210. She was nerfed, and I believe they didn't even notice that. It was probably a mistake. Koga was nerfed a little bit. Now you need to do 80 damage instead of 70 to actually activate the energy that you receive by Adrenaline Junkie. So you have to do more to get more. That's basically it. As for his cards, Trigger Happy was reduced. The healing that you receive is now by half. Cut off in half. It's 5% per point. Surprise, the card that would regenerate the ammo while on the Shadow Step has also been reduced for 5 per point. Tenacious, the one that would heal you, which I believe that the Shadow Step also heals you for 40 now instead of 60 per point. And Memento, which was the card that would give you extra ammo for your base ammo instead of being 10 per point, and now goes to 5 per point. Maeve had a nerf as well for her card, the recent card that she just received, where you throw your daggers, and every time you hit with one dagger to one person, you could do a reduction of prowl by 0.5 seconds. Now it will only work with players. It was working with totems, it was working with deployables, it was working with shields. Everything was working. As long as it wasn't, map, everything was working. Now you have to actually hit players. To be rewarded, you need to do stuff. This looks pretty cool. Mikawa, his shield has now been buffed from 3,750 to 4,000. Ancient Rage has now been nerfed. The health that you gain, it is no longer 5,000, it's now 4,000. Maldumba, his healing on his gourd has been increased back per tick. Instead of being 45, it will be 60 per tick, which means that this is the base gourd, not the one that the talent. The talent is even going to increase it even more. That was untouched, so therefore it's even going to be more powerful now with that. Ram has had his card Enforcer, the talent, changed from 75% damage reduction while using Enforcer, or Juggernaut, Juggernaut, yes, to 50%. Also, his Juggernaut has received the nerf from his damage. Instead of being 700 per hit, is now 600, and also the distance traveled will be 245 units instead of 260. Ceres had her healing buffed, so the cooldown of her healing is now 1.5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. This is actually really good because it was necessary. And Shaling was buffed, surprisingly enough. They increased the minimum projectile speed of when drawing the bow from 120 to 300, more than the double. Pretty good. Reduce the base gravity scaling on the arrows from 3 to 0.8. So it means that when you tap the arrows, they will no longer just fall in front of you. They will go a little bit more forward, which will allow you to not have to use, charge shots every single time, but you still want to do that for the most amount of damage. And they also removed gravity scaling from fully drawn arrows. So I believe that if you fully draw an arrow, it will go in a straight line. So Sniper Shelling will be new meta. Sky, she had a nerf to Smoke and Daggers. It will heal now for 150 instead of 200 per second. And they removed 1 second of its duration. The card Dissipate also was reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds of its effect, which I believe it was the speed for the people who were on the smoke. Terminus was also nerfed on both his card Blood and Stone and the card Abomination, which was the Calamity Blast. That would basically, the first one, Blood and Stone, would give you Power Siphon if you hit people with basically just your axe, I believe. It now gives you 6% per point. And Abomination was the one that if you shoot it the Calamity Blast and you hit somebody with it, it would give you 3% per point. Now it's 2% per point, going up to a maximum of 10%, so you can sort of see the idea here. And this is probably for Calamity Blast, so it's still not big nerf on Terminus, but it's still something that people can still feel. We got Tiberius also. They reduced the lockout after the last ability charge is used on his ultimate, so you'll be able to recover a lot faster. And they also changed the cards. The Bragging Rights, the one that was giving you heals with chakram hits, is now nerfed from 25 per point, will be 15 per point. And Haunted Senses, they removed it, they reduced the ultimate charge from 0.8 while using your Q to 0.6 per point. And I still think this should be completely removed. Torvald was nerfed. His protection will now only give 500 per shield instead of 1000. Ying, her clones will only heal for 400 per tick instead of 420. Zin has lost his immunity on his ult with Guillotine. And Smolder will heal for 15% instead of 25% per second. And that is pretty much it. There's not really much more there to say. We got bug fixes, a ton of them, but again, if you guys want to check out the bug fixes, again, link in the description for the patch notes. There will also be a link in the description for the dev blog to talk about why they wanted to remove the death cams and the top plays and so on. And there's many more hiding inside of the Battle Pass, but when PDS opens, I'll probably just go through it. There's probably going to be modes and VP poses and stuff like that, so just wait for that, probably next weekend. Today is day 5, so you already sort of get the idea. If you're seeing this too much in the future, you probably already lost it, or PDS is already open. So that is pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, later today, after I publish this video, I will be live on the Paladins game channel at 1 a.m. London time, so it's pretty much already in day 6, but it's sort of still today if you get the idea. I'll be there for 2 hours. If you guys want to join me, I'll be waiting for you. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, have a wonderful time. Bye bye, guys.